Hey guys, and welcome back to another video, and I hope you are all okay on that side of the screen. And today, to wrap up with the Beelink GT King, which is the first machine on the market at this moment with the latest AM Logic S922 SoC. Now, for those of you that missed the last video, I will leave a link right over here on the YouTube cards or over there, and I will try not to forget to leave a link down below as well so that you can check out all the benchmarks that we did and the first impressions about this machine. And on this particular video, we will talk only about the main features and multimedia and gaming and so on and so forth. Now let's start with the launcher. That was my first disappointed. I have to be honest, I was a little bit disappointed on a new machine not having a new launcher. Nonetheless, one of the great advantages of any pure Android TV box like the Beelink GT King is that we can install any launcher that we want. And that was what I did, and I do on every single machine. So no issues at all, but I was expecting with a new machine a new launcher. Now, one thing that I was not expecting, because I didn't read the spec sheet, was this awesome remote that comes with the Beelink GT King. Now, we have seen this kind of remote several times on budget machines, but not all of them have the same functions, and one function right over here is very important to me, the way that I use Android TV boxes, which is the Air mouse. It will give me the freedom to use apps that otherwise I would need a mouse. And most of the times what I do is I always suggest an Air mouse when people is buying a Android TV box so that they can take the best advantages of their machines. And on this particular case, we don't need to, because this is a wireless remote with the Air mouse function, and it also has, for those of you that want to use Google Assistant, also has the microphone with the voice recognition. So this is a remote control that I was not expecting, but I do believe that this machine deserves a good remote as this. Now, moving on in terms of multimedia, as you guys have seen on the last video, Netflix doesn't work. I did try several versions of the app, both mobile and the TV, and none of them were able to work on this machine, at least so far. I don't know if there will be a firmware update that will allow us to use Netflix here, but so far it doesn't. If we move to YouTube, I was able to play on the mobile version up to 1080, very smooth video playback, and on the TV version we can, of course, depending on our TV, move up to 4K with a great smooth video playback. So no issues at all in terms of YouTube as I was expecting. Now, when we move to Kodi, so that we can check out the decoding, if you are wondering, hey Robert, may I play my 1080 Blu-ray MKV files that I've got on my network, which is what I do right over here on every single box that I've got on my home? And the answer is totally yes. This box behaves really well. It doesn't have any problem whatsoever with any kind of movie that we have at home. Nonetheless, besides some of the movies that I've got that I did test out on this machine and worked great, I also used a few samples, and there was only one that didn't run. I did test out 10-bit and 8-bit videos, H.265 and H.264 up to 4K, streaming over my network, and it worked just great on every single sample, with the exception of one sample which is very difficult to pass on that test, which is the Big Buck Bunny with 4K at 60 frames per second. That was the only one that was not able to play perfect. I had a lot of dropped frames, but this is something that happens with almost any box that passes here. The only two boxes that I remember that passed that test were the two NVIDIA Shields that I've got at home, and those did pass on. But if you ask me, hey Robert, is that really serious? In my particular case, it's not, because all my movies are H.264 at 1080 Blu-ray MKV files, so I have no issues at all in playing my multimedia library. If you ask, hey Robert, what about Plex and MB? The results will be very similar, with the advantage that if the machine was not able to decode, then the Plex or MB server would. In terms of gaming, I did test out, besides Lineage 2 on the previous video, also tested PUBG, because a lot of people ask, hey Robert, what about the quality that the game will give to the box? Automatically it did the medium quality, and what I can say in terms of gaming is that the experience was very pleasant. I was not expecting any less, having in mind that this SoC is more powerful than the top of the line Rockchip that we have tested PUBG and similar games, then the AM Logic S922X was totally capable. I did had a lot of fun with the PUBG for the time that I did play, which was not much, but it was enough to have the feeling of the game. Now, one more important thing to me, at least, is game streaming, and I know that for some of you guys out there, and I was a bit anxious to know if this machine was able or not. And when I did the first test, which was the network test. As you guys can see, it did go up to 100 megabits per second, and I thought, okay, we are clear. And I was right, because I did test it out with gas guzzlers and the performance was great. This is a really nice game. It's not new, but it's heavy and will take advantage of my CPU and GPU on my computer and will stream to this box. So it's great for those of you that have a computer elsewhere on your home and you want to place this box on your living room, your room, etc, etc. It will be able to play your games without moving from the couch. And I was able to play gas guzzlers and also Rocket League at 1080 60 frames per second, and no issues, no lags. The box just behaved really well. And basically this is it, guys. Hopefully this video was helpful for you to decide if this machine is the one that you want or not. And if it was, don't forget that usual thumbs up. My name is Roberto Jorge, and as always, I'll see you guys on the next one.